Before I begin this video properly, I will read you the account of my conversation with the living grimoire Ciri. I, as a powerful mage of lore of absolute nonsense, sent my familiar Leah to the world of Frieren. This is how my conversation with Ciri went. Okay, let's go. Hello, Lady Ciri. I have some questions. Oh, it's you, she said. I have questions of my own. That's fine as long as you answer my... I do not wish for any spells, just to answer this one question. First, ask away yours. I live an endless life and I've never seen a talking dog who uses lore of metal. What are you? Well, okay, that's kind of rude to ask, but I will answer with my question, which ain't better. I'm a familiar of a mad wizard here to ask you a question. Without any further ado, how do you reproduce? How do I... What? Who are you to ask such questions? I'm the steel merchant and I've been wondering more about Frieren. Like, I mean not the character, but also her, but about the series. Like also the character, but also the animal as a whole. It's great, like it beat Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood after years of it being #1 on my anime list because of absolutely crazy stans. Wow, stan, that's a word I haven't heard nor said in a long time. Does Frieren deserve #1 spot? Yes, I think so. It's great, although its world building I would say isn't the greatest, but nor was Full Metal's. Its story, themes, music, the few action scenes it has, and especially the characters are great. They work perfectly, and the pacing I dare to say is perfect. This anime worked, after all, in this day and age of pure brain rot. Yet, it is not what I want to talk about. Frieren brings back the old style of fantasy. You know the one, heroes fighting evil monsters, a world full of elves, dwarves, demons, mages, warriors, all this stuff is back in the old good style, and I love it. I love the simplicity and the lack of maybe those evil monsters aren't evil, maybe they are misunderstood. Son. No. Michael, yes, my lord, bring the sword. Those people who try to say that demons are misunderstood, I get you horny ass. I would like to do aura myself, but I ain't suicidal. I mean, I've seen what Pussy does to a MFer and I saw what demonocy does to people. So no. Yet with No Nut November in full swing, with each day my horny ass getting worse as I fight against my addiction, I've wondered. Frieren brought back everything. It brought back old fantasy. It does not tell us much about elves, nothing really. So I wonder, how does reproduction of elves work? And wait, I'm serious, this is a serious curva question. How does it work? Because depending on how it works, it also means a lot for the series, and Ciri of course as well. There are two ways half-elves would work in Frieren, the classic way or the classic way. Now, what does it mean? It means, does it work like in the classic way things work in fantasy, so D&D way, or do they work like classics of classics, so Lord of the Rings, and this matters a lot. So in D&D, when an elf and a human really love one another, and they handhold, a half-elf will be born, like Shadowheart, she is a half-elf, or a possible child of Minthara and Gale if she stops being such a tsune for the man and finally shows that groomer Mistra who really owns him. Those elves have their lifespans cut short by the human heritage. Half-elves live around to 200, maturing at normal human speed, but then aging slower. Still, this is much less than their elven parent, although in D&D this depends on, as elves can be powerful, those elves may be practically immortal. With regular elves, they live around 1000, so less than in Frieren, where age doesn't matter for elves at all, be it 10 years, 100 or 1000. In the classic of classics, so Lord of the Rings, half-elves do exist. Their lifespan, however, is completely different. Half-elves are given a choice, either to follow their elven heritage or their human one. It's a choice given to them by Eru, the god in Tolkien's universe. Those who choose elf side of their heritage are basically like normal elves, immortal, while those who choose mortal side are more similar to D&D half-elves, with their lifespans longer than humans, but still shorter, although not as short as those of D&D elves. Without much lore about the elves, as Frieren focuses on characters and their stories instead of the world building and the lore, we can only speculate. Personally, I think that half-elves in the world of Frieren will be more akin to the ones from Lord of the Rings, as elves in Frieren are more akin to those from Tolkien's world if it comes to their lifespan. Existence or possible existence of a god being in the world of Frieren, simply called the goddess, it's also possible half-elves would be given a choice which heritage they want to follow. If of course this world goes full on with the Lord of the Rings way, which I doubt. Half-elves working like in Lord of the Rings also have an argument behind them, which is a complete lack of knowledge given to us of half-elves in the world of Frieren. Of course that doesn't support nor oppose what I say, but if those existed in D&D form, I think we would be informed. Opposite can also be said if they worked like in Lord of the Rings, that we would be told. Well, we haven't been told anything, so we don't know. Yet let's think about this from character perspective, as characters are what Frieren focuses on. Especially it focuses on two characters. Frieren, whose story we follow, as it's her story, it's in the title, in the name, and Himmel, the one because of who she is on her journey in the first place. And now, to say it completely real, what if Himmel and Frieren actually made Himmel's dream come real and they together had kids? Well, prepare yourself for ultimate tragedy for Frieren or complete bittersweetness. If half-elves would work like in D&D, then complete sadness awaits. Complete heartbreak would come to Frieren only after a dozen of years. First, Himmel will go beyond, just like what happened to him during the original story, although this time Frieren will have kids to share the sadness of his death, and those children would remain her joy for around mere 200 years. Yes, in a mere 200 years, Frieren would see her children grow, age, and join their father in the end. Although those short for elves years would be most joyous for her, what would be the end? It would be beyond sad. I cannot imagine living one's life through the lives of one's children and even descendants. That's, I think, is something too sad. And so I hope this isn't how half-elves work in the world of Frieren. I hope they would work like those from Lord of the Rings. Then Frieren would never be alone ever again. She would always have her children at her side, and if they choose the mortality of their father, so be it. It's their choice. Yet if they choose immortality, then their mother would never be alone ever again. The love, the memories, happiness and sadness of memories of him would be shared between them forever. Honestly said, I wait for any kind of information about half-elves in Frieren. I would like to know if they exist. There's simply so little we know, so little lore, and I want more. What I had seen through my years of watching anime and reading manga is that Japanese creators either just brush off the lore, not caring about the depth of their universe, or just jumping straight into the depths of lore beyond any other series. There is no middle option. I don't know why it's like this. I feel Western media is way more balanced if it comes to this matter. Going back to the topic, what do you think? Any ideas about how half-elves work in Frieren? I honestly want them to work like in Lotru, because I don't want Frieren to be alone forever again. Like she understood, or rather is understanding her feelings, so yeah, I don't want her to hurt no more. Now, please, comment what you think, share your ideas, like if you liked, and subscribe if you feel like it. To who the hell were you talking? Oh, I forgot. I will just be... How do you know so much about Frieren? Well, goodbye.
Please, Frieren!